everybody, it's me, Kelly, out here with Around Town. Today, we're at the historic Stockyards of Fort Worth. You know, we're going to go back into history. We're going to find out a lot of great historical facts about the Stockyards. We're going to meet Baron and we're going to meet Teresa. They're going to tell us all about the historic Stockyards of Fort Worth. So come on with me. Let's go check it out, everybody.
It's who we are. It's what we do. We're here and there just for you. All around town, come see what's happening around town.
All right, everybody, we're now here at the historic Stockyards of Fort Worth. We're in the heart of the Stockyards. So we're meeting up now with my very good friend, Baron. Now, Baron is going to give us a tour of the historic Stockyards. How you doing today, Baron?
I'm doing fine, Kelly. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for having us out here today.
Yes, love to have you out here today.
Tell us about the building behind us.
All right, this is the Livestock Exchange Building. It was built in 1902. It opened in 1903. It was the heart and soul of the stockyards here. It's where stockmen, people who raise livestock, such as horses, mules, pigs, sheep, cattle, would come here to buy or sell livestock.
So it was really like the Wall Street of the Old West.
Very much like the Wall Street of the West. Matter of fact, the stock exchange takes their name because before there was currency, people dealt with livestock.
Look at that, huh? Oh, that's amazing.
That was the currency.
That was the currency of the old day, the cattle. Who needs money when you got cattle,
exactly.
Right? Since you're a wealth of information, let's walk around. Let's go check it out. Let's see more of the stockyards. What do you all think, huh? All right, let's go. Come on,
Barb. Here we go.
Okay, now, whoa, hold on a second. Okay, Baron, what exactly is this? Okay, a car being pulled by a horse. Okay, I don't get it.
Well, this is a great photograph here. This is kind of a favorite here at Stockyards. We bring tourists and we talk about this picture. We call this 2 horsepower pulling out 40 horsepower. We believe, now we don't know for sure, but we think this is in Monahans, which is in West Texas. That's somewhere between Abilene and Odessa, Permian. And this is circa 1940s during World War II.
So it's like a circa 1940s stagecoach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah. Somebody got trapped in the sand there, and these cowboys are out giving a hand trying to get that car pulled out.
Well, it's always good to have a little bit of cowboys on hand, right?
Exactly.
All right, okay. You were saying the museum's down just the way a little ways?
Yes.
All right,
sure, you bet.
Let's head on down and check it out.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Now, Baron's brought us to the Stockyard Museum, where we're meeting up with one of my good friends, Teresa, who's going to tell us all about some of the great things here in the museum. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. So can you tell us about this great museum here in the Stockyards?
Yes. The Stockyards Museum is operated by the North Fort Worth Historical Society, which was founded by some concerned parties back in the 70s. We were the 3rd largest stockyards in the nation. Chicago was first, Omaha was 2nd, and Fort Worth was 3rd.
You mean Kansas City didn't fall into the mix? Wow. Okay, better luck next time, Kansas City. Nothing against you, but wow, so living history still here because of concerned citizens that kept it living. It's incredible.
Yes.
All right, so is there anything in the museum that you might want to show us today that might inspire the youth to come out here and visit the Stockyards as well?
Yes. Let's step right over here and
okay.
I'll show you this picture. Like the Wall Street that we're familiar with in New York, there was so much money that passed through this building that it was dubbed the Wall Street of the West.
It's incredible.
Instead of the stock market, it's livestock.
I like that. All right. Stock market, livestock. You get the stock in there. It's perfect.
Yes.
That's incredible. Thank you very much for showing us that.
Now, if you look right behind you, I think this is very interesting. Do you see this picture? This is a very famous photograph.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, now hold on. I think let me guess. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and their crew,
and
right?
The Wild Bunch.
And that was taken here in Fort Worth, right?
In Fort Worth. When the photographer was proud of this photo because he knew who they were and he hung it in his window. And the story is that a Fort Worth police officer saw it, recognized some of the men, and called the Pinkerton people and said, the people you're looking for are here. And it was after that Butch and Sundance left for South America, never to be seen again.
That is incredible.
Some people say they died there. Others say they came back to America and lived under assumed names.
I was going to say, if you watch the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, who knows? I mean, you don't know what happens. Okay, now, you got to explain this. The bad luck wedding dress.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Well, the bad luck wedding dress was actually made in 1886 in New York. It stayed in the same family, and the lady that inherited it lives here in Fort Worth, and she didn't want it in her house.
How come she didn't want it in her house?
Because it's bad luck.
That would make a lot of sense. If it's bad luck, you want it as far away from you as possible.
Yes. The first 3 ladies that wore this dress, their husbands died or disappeared mysteriously. Oof. The 4th lady that wore it for a historical reenactment, and she became very sick and was bedridden for 2 months.
All for wearing the dress.
Yes. When they realized, her father realized she had the dress on, he had the dress removed from her home, and she became well.
Well, that's why you now have it inside a plexiglass box where all the bad mojo is kept inside, not outside.
Exactly. And
Smart.
This dress actually inspired a paperback novel called The Bad Luck Wedding Dress. It's out of print now, but I've been told you can get it on ebook.
Now I got to ask you a question then. So, bad luck with the dress. If you read the paperback book, do you get any bad luck mojo coming from that, or is the book fine?
We have not had any reports.
Perfect. Okay,
yes.
that's a good thing.
So, now some people are familiar with record players these days. They like the nostalgia. Mm-hmm. Well, this is called a Victor talking machine, and it does not work on electricity. It works on elbow grease.
Elbow grease. A little bit of elbow grease goes a long way, is what I heard.
So we put the crank in.
And crank it up. Just give it a good crank and it'll get ready to go.
Would you like to crank it?
Can I crank it too? Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. Okay, here we go. All right. Now how many cranks? Just keep going till it moves?
It'll start spinning.
It's spinning. There it goes. Now, does it matter? Now, if you spin it too fast, will it go louder and faster?
Yes, it will. And if you do it too much, it'll break the spring.
That wouldn't be a good thing at all. No music.
See, the record is spinning. The turntable is spinning. There's no electricity powering this. And this little arm has a needle in the end of it.
Oh, there's right there.
Place that needle.
Oh, there you go. All right.
And this is the volume control.
Old-fashioned volume control. Open the cabinet doors. Voila, there's more music. That's incredible. See, kids, you have it easy these days. Now you just put the CD in the player, you listen to the music. You don't got to crank it up or flip the record. This is incredible. Wow. Okay, we've now arrived to one of the most popular parts of the museum here. It's this light bulb right behind me. So, Teresa, can you tell us about the light bulb that we see right here?
This is referred to as the Palace Theater light bulb, and it is the world's second longest burning bulb.
Wow. Okay, now how many years has it been burning?
109 years.
And nobody's ever flipped the switch off?
No. Wow. I mean, it's been off because we have had power failures, but it continues to come back on.
That's incredible.
Now, there is one bulb in California, in Livermore, California, fire station that's been burning 7 years longer.
But that's in California, quite a ways away.
Well,
so
I know.
Incredible.
Both bulbs were made by the Shelby Electric Company in Shelby, Ohio, and they were bought out by General Electric in 1912.
Wow.
So
history right there.
And this bulb was installed at the Byers Opry House in downtown Fort Worth on September 21st, 1908. And then in 1919, moving pictures became popular, so they changed it to a theater, the Palace Theater.
And then it kept on burning.
It did. And then they tore down the Palace Theater in 1977, and the bulb was rescued by a gentleman named George Dado because they were going to just throw it away.
And so he said, "I'm bringing it to the Stockyards."
Well, actually, he took it to his house.
Oh, he had it in his study then. Okay, I see.
Because he thought it would burn out anyway.
Exactly. It's only been burning for 80-some years. It's going to burn out any day now.
So he brought it to us. We've had it since 1991.
That's it. It's amazing.
And
Look
we
at
have a birthday party for it every year on September 21st.
What kind of cake does it like?
Chocolate
cake
and vanilla.
That's good. That's good.
And we have live music.
That's amazing.
Balloons, the whole 9 yards.
So if you guys come out to the Stockyard Museum, make sure to swing by and check out the second oldest light bulb in the United States, right here, right inside the museum. This is incredible. Teresa, thank you very much for letting us come on in here today.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well. We're heading out. We're going to go check out more of the Stockyards.
Well, y'all have fun.
All right. Thanks so much. We will.
All right.
All right, so just in a few minutes, we're going to be seeing the cattle drive happening out on Exchange Avenue. But right now, Baron, what exactly is this that we have right in front of us?
Okay, this is the night pen. This is where the cattle spend the night that do the cattle walk every day. And we have the day pen over here to my right. And that's where they go. They walk from one pen to the other, but they do it out on Main Street. And the people get to see them walking down the street while they're taking them to the other pen.
So what you're saying is, so the cattle drive is actually essentially just moving them from one pen to the next.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So when you come on out here, if you don't see the cattle in the cattle drive, because if you're not out here at 11:30 or at 4 o'clock, you can come back here and see them back here
Absolutely.
in their pens.
Yes, we're back here in their pens, and a lot of people do that. They'll come out here and they'll just stand. There's also a cattleman's walk up here, which we're going to go on, catwalk, and you can see them from there on both sides.
All right, well, let's go check it out.
Okay, very good.
Okay, Baron, a question for you. So I've heard that what designates the historic stockyards out on the street are the bricks. So when you're coming down Main Street, where the bricks start on Main Street, and then all of Exchange are the brick roads.
Yes.
And that is what designates where the historic stockyards are.
Yes, it does. And there's estimated, and I don't know how anyone could even know this, but there's estimated to be over 10 million brick in the stockyard.
Wow, that's a lot of brick.
And most of the brick, but not all, but most of it is what is called as Thurber brick. And here's an example of it right here. This is Thurber brick, and you see the triangle in the middle. That actually has meaning. Thurber was the first closed shop town west of the Mississippi River. What that means is, to live and work there, you had to belong to the Union. And every building, everything was owned by the company, the Texas Pacific Railroad. And so you worked for the company. You were not paid in cash. You were not paid in money. You were paid with stamps. And you had to buy all of your supplies, all of your groceries, everything from the company store. Everything was owned by the company.
So it was truly a game of Monopoly going in Thurber, Texas.
Yes. And the triangle was the Union symbol, and it stood for BTT, brick, tile, terracotta, because it was primarily a coal mining town. It was a drag line strip mine, which meant they mined the coal from the top of the ground. They did not tunnel in. And the byproduct, and if you live in Texas, you know this, we have a high clay content in our soil. So the slag, or the leftover from the coal, was clay. So instead of just letting that clay pile up, they turned it into brick, tile, and terracotta products.
That's incredible.
Yes. So everybody who lived there worked for the company.
Now there is a rumor that I've heard. Now let's see if it's true or not. I heard that when the brick industry kind of started slowing up, that Thurber, Texas, turned into a ghost town because their main means of industry, which was the brick, kind of got taken away from them.
A couple of things happened. The locomotives started transitioning from burning coal, because that's why they mined the coal to begin with, to burning oil. Secondly, they discovered oil out there. It's called the Ranger Field. That's where Ranger, Texas gets its name. So everybody said, the heck with this. Let's go work in the oil fields and make more money. So they abandoned the town, and by 1922, it pretty much became a ghost town.
Wow.
If you go there today, on your way to Abilene, Texas, heading west on I-20, you'll go right through it. You may miss it. There's a big, giant red smokestack there. That'll catch your eye for sure. There's about 3 homes there that are from turn of the century, and there are 2 really fine restaurants there. They're really good. Chicken fried steak, hamburgers, fried catfish, that sort of thing.
It's incredible. So a little bit of a pit stop on the way to Abilene. Go by Thurber.
Yes.
See the smokestack. Get some food.
Yes, and Tarleton State University operates a museum there, so you can see that as well.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Wow, little history lesson for you right
go.
here at our very feet. It's amazing. Wow. Down below where we just were, we've now come up to the Cattleman's Catwalk, which overlooks some of the historic stock areas down here. So, Baron, go ahead and tell us about where we are now.
All right, we are where the cattle pens used to be. Now, there's still some cattle pens left, but what was originally here was about 1,700 pens. Maximum capacity was 60,000 head of cattle.
And that's what we saw in that picture you were showing us earlier. This is just one small section of all those that were scanning this area.
It's about 7 acres today. So if you look out on the parking lot out here, where you see parking lot, those were all cattle pens. They went up to that bank. There's a bank there. You see one of the offloading ramps.
Right over there, yeah.
Where the cattle would be offloaded. And if you go they went all the way out to that bridge out there. And if you look out here at the parking lot, you'll see some brick peeking up underneath the asphalt. That's some of that Thurber brick we were talking about. If you go out to that grassy knoll out there where the bridge is and dig down 3 feet, you'll hit brick. By the way,
so like we've said, anywhere you go in the stockyard, you're going to find red brick.
You're going to find red brick, okay?
All this walking around the Stockyards has got me famished. So you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to get something to eat because the Stockyards of Texas, right here in Fort Worth, has so many great eating establishments. But you know what? Who knew that Cooper the Dragon had his own barbecue joint? So I'm going to go grab myself some barbecue. But while I'm in there, Barron's going to show you the creek, and he's also going to show you the mule barns. So have a great time, and I'll see you in a few. I can't wait to eat. This is going to be great. How you doing, sir?
All right, I'm standing here behind the horse and mule barns on Marine Creek. This is a very historic creek. Many consider this to be the birthplace of the Stockyards. This is where it all began back in 1903. But before then, this was a major stop on the Chisholm Trail. The cowboys, or the drovers as they were called, would drive the longhorn cattle up to this creek and also along the Trinity River, which is within walking distance from here, and they would graze the cattle for 3 to 5 days, let them drink and rest, while they would go into town in Fort Worth, which is about 2 miles from here, and would get supplies. It's a very historic place. Now, when this was a stop on the Chisholm Trail, all of these buildings that you see here did not exist. This was simply the creek and the pasture. Now, if you were a rubber ducky, and I put you in this creek, you could theoretically or conceivably wind up in the Gulf of Mexico. This is a tributary of the Trinity River, and it flows right into it. And the Trinity empties into Galveston Bay. It flows through Houston and empties into the Gulf of Mexico. The limestone that you see was added sometime in the 1980s, I believe, for flood control. This thing is prone to flooding, still floods today. Before the Army Corps of Engineers came in here in the 1960s to build a series of levees to control the flooding, this would actually flow out of its banks up into the street.
All right, you guys, that was a great meal. I got to tell you, Stockyards of Texas, great place to eat all the great food. Now, kiddos, guess what? When you're here at the Stockyards of Texas, if you were looking for your parents and they're not down on Exchange Avenue, you might just see them here at Billy Bob's Texas, the world's largest honky-tonk. Great music being done here. Big country stars come through. Every Friday and Saturday night, there's bull riding that happens here. It's incredible. And, you know what? You might not realize this, but Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California, that has all the handprints, well, inside those doors right there, inside Billy Bob's, there are the handprints of all the country western stars that have performed here. And speaking of stars, our very own Sonny Burgess from CLZ Studios, he actually performed here at the Billy Bob's Texas as well. So if you come on out, you might just see him here. It's incredible, and you'll see him here at Billy Bob's. You know, another really cool thing about the Stockyards here in Fort Worth are the Texas Hall of Fame, which also features the wagon collection here. So if you come on out, you can see all the cowboys that are in the Hall of Fame, but you can also check out some really cool Old West wagons. It's amazing, and it's right here inside this building. And when you're in the historic Stockyards of Fort Worth, you gotta get dressed up. So there's also the old-time photo parlor inside the Hall of Fame where you get dressed up in your old-fashioned Old West gear and look like a cowboy and cowgirl and saloon lady right here in the Stockyards. It's really cool. Hey, you know what? I know the Stockyard Station's around the corner, so I'm gonna head over there now. We're now inside Stockyard Station here in the historic Stockyards. Now, inside here, you can see is all consumer products. There's retail stores, there's food establishments, there's candy joints, all right here inside what used to be the barns and stables for sheep and pigs. But you know what? There's something here inside Stockyard Station that a lot of people don't know about, and it's right back here behind me. So if you want, follow me this way and I'll show you. Okay, everybody, here we are inside Stockyard Station. A little bit away from where all the retail establishments are is this thing right here. This is the pig and sheep subway of Stockyard Stations. Now, this area here, in the old days, before it was a retail establishment, what they would do is they would transport the pigs and the sheep that were staying here inside Stockyard Station stables. They'd use this subway underneath over to where the trains were. So it's not New York City, but it is a subway because it's a way underneath the road getting into where they need to be. That's really cool, and you can only find it right here inside Stockyard Station. That's pretty awesome. Okay, everybody, we are now in front of the Fort Worth Coliseum, built in 1908. Now, Barron, you gotta tell us about this thing. This is amazing.
All right, it started off, we have the longest running, oldest stock show in the United States. It started in 1896 on the banks of Marine Creek, and they decided to move it indoors. It was held in March, and as we both know, a lot of bad weather happens in March.
It does. So Twisters and rain and all that
They wanted
stuff.
to move it inside, so they built this building in 1908 and 88 88 business days.
Go, okay, hold on. So this entire thing went up in 88 days.
88 business days.
That's a lot of hands on deck to build this thing. It's wow.
Home of the world's first indoor rodeo. It's also where bull riding was invented. It's also where the sport of bulldogging was introduced by an African-American cowboy named Bill Pickett. There's a statue of him right over here. We'll look at that as we're walking over to the Marine Creek. And he introduced it here with a Wild West show called the 101 Ranch. And he invented it in Taylor, Texas, which is where he was born and raised, about 30 miles north of Austin. And he did his act all over Mexico, United States, Canada, and Europe. He did his act in front of royalty in Europe.
Now the Coliseum's been around since 1908. Now, if people still want to come see the rodeo here inside the Coliseum, the rodeo happens year-round here in the Stockyards on the weekends, right?
Every Friday and Saturday night.
It's incredible. So if you want to come see the rodeo right here in the first rodeo arena indoors, it's right here, right behind you. Come and check it out, you guys. This is incredible.
One, it's a good one.
All right, so now we're inside the Coliseum. This is incredible. I mean, look how huge this place is.
Yes.
So now that we're inside, looking at all the seating, how many people does this place hold?
Holds a little bit less than 3,000 people, right around 2,700 and some change. And this is where Elvis performed here 3 times, actually. He performed here twice in 1955. He wasn't real quite famous yet. Sang 2 songs, paid $50. And in 56, that's when he did his Ed Sullivan performance, which was a very, very popular TV show back in the 50s and 60s. And that's what shot him to superstar status. He came back here on a tour before he was to go into the Army, and he performed in front of 7,000 people in this room right here. Now, where do you think they might have put the other 4,000? Well, they had to put them down here in the arena. They take that dirt out and put chairs down in there. And there's actually some photographs here that show the crowd attending his performance.
That's incredible. So the Coliseum for the rodeo, but it also goes to show that the Coliseum here in the Stockyards can be utilized for other things as well.
It was what we today call a multi-purpose arena.
That's great. This is amazing. History right here. Check us out, folks. Hey everybody, you know, a little earlier Barron was telling us about the Texas Trail Hall of Fame, and he was showing us those big banners that were inside the Stock Exchange building. Well, if you look here are actually the stars on the Texas Trail Walk of Fame. There's 116 all up and down the historic Stockyards here on Exchange Avenue, on Main Street. So when you come out here, you can see all these great stars. It's incredible. You can see all these great cowboys that are inducted into the trail. And hey, actually, you know what? It's almost time for the cattle drive here at 11:30. So, I have a great idea. Let's go check out the Longhorns in the historic cattle drive that happens here twice daily, every single day, rain or shine. So come on, let's check it out. All right, folks, it's been around town. We've been here in the Stockyards of Fort Worth. Check it out. It's the Longhorn. I'll see you next time, everybody.
All around town, come see what's happening.